literally, shares very similar sentiments as I have. And of course, you heard Fatih and I, when we took a short break, I told her that this is literally a president in denial, a government in denial, outgoing appointees in denial. All the lists of persons she mentioned, the list of communities, the list of constituencies, literally had an opportunity to share their views about this administration led by President Akufo-Addo. And Hajia Fatima, Ghanaians have told you that it is the insensitivity of your government that actually led to the protests against your administration, more than anything. Yesterday, I listened to President Adodankwa Akufo-Addo to my utter disappointment. I didn't hear a shred of regret, a modicum of sadness, a touch of respect for those who went out there to elect him into office in 2016. The very same people who endorsed his presidency did not get what they were expecting yesterday. A touch of regret, just maybe, would probably have done a fantastic job preserving a certain image of a man who said very proudly that his biggest moment must have been to serve Ghanaians as president. He is over 80. It means that at the time when he took the mantle of leadership, he was above 70 years old. And so must know that all of us were expecting a touch of humility at last in the final embers, when he could no longer speak to Ghana beyond aid, when he could no longer even boast about the almost 1 million individuals who elected him into office, when he couldn't even boast about the fact that in one fell swoop, the MPP lost almost all of the parliamentary seats in Ghana, giving the NDC well above 182 seats. My sister, sometimes, no matter the circumstances, it is also a mark of leadership to admit to your own feelings that in some cases, we probably could have done better. Short of that, anything else yesterday for me was a complete and utter disappointment. And it was actually in the final hours as they left when I saw for the very first time our mother and First Lady, our beautiful Rebecca, express her frustrations in the way she did after 8 years of stoicism and silence, even in the face of the most frustrating criticisms. It summed it up for me that yes, if President Akufo-Addo had even expressed a shred of responsibility for the MPP's loss by a wide margin of 57.7% in one election, maybe Madam would have been a touch more relaxed and taken Honorable Bawah's comments in good faith, because they summed up what every single Ghanaian citizen was thinking. Fatih, I would look at it from the perspective of the economy first. People are starving. Citizens are hungry. Let's thank God that, yes, you and I and probably Samson share a common history, that because of where we come from, as third-generation northern children, education indeed is the reason why we are here today. But what we should not forget is that as we sit here, we have members of our extended families across the country who still sleep on an empty stomach. I have an aunt in Katamanto who's been selling yams there since I was born. So I feel and I understand what it means to go to school, Samson, and have absolutely no education. There's a difference. And remember that in terms of gender parity, this was achieved as far back as 2015. You can cross-check, where we had actually primed the girl child to the point where the boy children were now being left behind at the primary level. So naturally, these were the same kids that fed into the senior high school system. That is also fact. And then you come and look at the numbers. President Akufo-Addo spoke about 5.7 million children in tertiary education. It's a lie, factually inaccurate and incorrect. But certainly it is still the highest selling point. So I'll continue to exhibit this huge grandiosity around this policy, because for him, really, his legacy is indeed in tatters. And Angela said it. Maybe years later, who knows, we might look on it very fairly. But as we speak today, and Dr. Adomako has said it, Look at the number of children who are falling out, dropping out, who are receiving an education but are not educated. And Samson, when you look at the statistics, in terms of even entry points, 2013 to 2022, this is a very reliable education source. When you want research, you go there. 2013, right?
What's the source of that?
This is the Statistica.
Okay. Largely,
for any education information, that's where you go to. 2013, we had 68.58. 2014, 63.59. I won't bore you. So it's in the 60s right up to 2018, 19, when we had actually introduced this. It comes to 70.61. Today, in 2022, 2 years ago, 76.78. So in terms of enrollment, in terms of numbers, and Doctor is right, let's not use figures as a way of camouflaging what the reality is.
This sounds to you like a natural ascendancy.
And everybody has said it. You know, look, poor people pride themselves on giving their children an education. It is why our grandmothers and our mothers will sell their last fabric to take their children to school. So when you come and say, let me augment what you already believe is the only way out of poverty, why not? There will be a certain response. But Samson, will that response give you employment? Will that response make you like all of us here today? Will that response give you the life that we are experiencing, largely because of education, not money? Let's never lose sight of what history has done for us as a people. And I am happy that even on this education issue, yesterday, many individuals fact-check you guys on everything you said. There is another thing that I can also speak to in terms of what happened even between when you came into government and now, for example. So you look at it very closely and then you ask yourself, what really is the issue about what our president wants to tell us? First and foremost, what is he trying to tell us, Samson? I want to understand that first and foremost, because beyond my disappointment is also the fact that this is a free SHS enrollment figures from 2017 to 2024. In 2018, there were 362,000. 2019, 432,000. 2020, 404,000, right up to today. So you see, the numbers really don't speak to what the reality is on the ground. Have you seen some of the infrastructure? Have you seen some of these teachers, the quality of teaching, that they have no textbooks, that today there is no curriculum? And I say, Fatih, the places you mentioned, all those communities voted against the MPP MP and voted against your presidential candidate for good reason. That the reality on the ground is that nobody feels what you guys feel. And we are not actually going to accept being told barefaced lies. What happened yesterday was a grand deception to try and save face when there was actually no need. And like I said, Auntie Rebecca's reaction at the end of it spoke volumes. We are all women, and we know when we are frustrated how we can behave. So let's not put premium on this thing. As for poverty, you and I probably know it better than most. We've all experienced it. But for education, you probably will never make it to this level.
Just a little aside.